everybody, and welcome to Earth Day Storytime in the Forest. Today we're going to be reading books that are about the earth and plants and things like that, because Earth Day is a day where we celebrate the earth and we think about ways that we can help keep it healthy and ways that we can respect it and take care of it. So today we're going to be reading The Digger and the Flower by Joseph Kufler. We're going to be reading Tidy by Emily Gravett. And we're also going to be reading Miss Fox's Class Goes Green by Eileen Spinelli. Today we're going to start with The Digger and the Flower. So this book is about machines and building cities, and at the same time protecting wildlife and protecting plants and flowers and keeping them safe. So let's start. The Digger and the Flower by Joseph Kufler. It was morning and the big trucks were ready to work. "Let's hoist," said Crane. "Let's push," said Dozer. "Let's dig," said Digger. Together they built tall buildings for working. They built roads for driving and bridges for crossing. They built and built until the loud whistle blew. "I'm beat," said Crane. "Me too," said Dozer. The other big trucks took a break, but Digger did not. There's Digger. He had found something in the rubble. "Hello there," he said. The flower was tiny, but it was beautiful. See that little blue flower? Every day while the other big trucks built, Digger visited the flower. He watered it when its leaves looked dry. He shielded it on windy days. And just before he switched off for the night, Digger sang the flower a bedtime song. The flower grew, but the city grew too. Soon every space had been filled, every space but one. Right where the flower lives, the only space left in the city. "We need to put a building here," said Crane. Dozer started his engine. Before Digger could stop him, Dozer blew a big puff of smoke and cut the flower down. Oh no, see Dozer cutting the flower down? Then the other big trucks went back to work, but Digger did not. He's sad. His flower friend got cut down. When the smoke cleared, Digger saw something in the rubble. "Little seeds," he said. There are the seeds. He scooped them up and drove. He drove past the tall buildings, past the farthest house on the farthest street. He drove to a place no big truck had ever been. There, Digger stopped. He dug and he scooped and tucked the seeds into the warm earth. Every day, Digger cared for the seeds. He watered them when their leaves looked dry. He shielded them on windy days. And just before he switched off for the night, Digger sang the flowers a bedtime song. The end. Now this little pretty flower is right outside the city. So Digger took the time and the patience to scoop up the seeds from the flower and plant them somewhere else so that they weren't lost. A lot of people like to have gardens and water and take care of them every day, and Digger found the value in that. Okay, our next book we're going to read is about some animal friends living in a forest. This book is called Tidy by Emily Gravitt, and its main character is a skunk. So Tidy by Emily Gravitt. Deep in the forest lived a badger named Pete, who tidied and cleaned and kept everything neat. He tidied the flowers by checking each patch and snipping off any that didn't quite match. He tidied the fox by grooming his fur. He untangled each knot and each twig and each burr. He tidied the birds from the big to the small by brushing their beaks and then bathing them all. He picked up stray sticks, he swept and he rubbed, he polished the rocks, and he scoured and he scrubbed. So when a leaf fell, well, look at all the leaves falling. They're everywhere. Pete doesn't know what to do. Pete tidied up, but still he wasn't happy. Now the trees looked bare and scrappy, and so to make it all look neat, Pete undertook a mighty feat. He dug up every single tree. Oh no, that's not good. But then it rained. There was a flood. There's no trees to catch the water, so it's flooding. And afterwards, a lot of mud. Pete called in the diggers, he called in the mixers, he called in the concrete, the rakers, and fixers. Uh-oh, looks like he's changing up the forest quite a bit. No mud, no leaves, no mess, no trees. Perfect, tidy, and perfectly neat. This forest is practically perfect, said Pete. He filled the whole forest with concrete. I'm hungry, he thought. I deserve a treat. So he hunted around for something to eat. But beetles and worms that he usually found were under the concrete, deep in the ground. And so Pete decided to go home instead. If he couldn't have dinner, he'd go straight to bed. But when he arrived and took out his key, there wasn't a door where the door used to be. Looks like he trapped everything under the concrete. That's not good. Later that night, Pete tossed and he turned. His belly was empty. It rumbled and churned. As he laid in his mixer, wide awake, he started to think, I have made a mistake. So the very next day, when it got light, he set about trying to put everything right. He's cracking up all the concrete, getting rid of it. The animals came, from the strong to the weak. They lent him a paw, or a claw, or a beak. Replanting the trees. They put everything back as it always had been, but maybe less ordered and not quite as clean. And Pete, well, he promised to tidy up less, but if he succeeded is anyone's guess. So sometimes it's important to leave the forest and leave nature how it is and not disrupt it so much so that the animals can all live and in their natural environments. Our next story is a little bit different. It's called Miss Fox's Class Goes Green by Eileen Spinelli. And this story is about ways that we can change our everyday habits to help protect and keep the earth healthy. So let's see if we can learn some tricks to keep the earth healthy and clean. The morning Miss Fox came to school on a bicycle, her students were surprised. Does your car have a flat tire? Asked Mouse. No, said Miss Fox, but cars pollute the air. I've decided to drive only when I must. I am going green. You don't look sick to me, said Raccoon. Miss Fox chuckled. Going green isn't about being sick. It's about keeping our earth healthy. Who will help? Everyone piped up, me, me, me. Wonderful, said Miss Fox, and then she wrote 3 things on the board. 1, use less stuff and recycle. 2, use less energy. 3, use less water. Can you do it? Asked Miss Fox. We can do it, the students replied. Miss Fox pumped her fist in the air. Yes, we're going green. Frog jumped up. I can use less water, he grinned. I can stop taking showers. Bunny pinched her nose. You will get very stinky. Miss Fox said, Frog doesn't have to stop taking showers. He can just take shorter ones. Squirrel called out, I know how to save paper. No more homework. Miss Fox smiled. That's not going to happen. But you can use both sides of the paper. Mouse said, turn off the lights when we leave a room. Bear had an idea too. Sharpen old crayons. Now you're really talking, said Miss Fox. That night, Mouse stepped into the shower. She liked long, sudsy showers with lots of singing. But Mouse was going green, so she took a short shower and sang afterwards. Raccoon was getting ready for bed. Brr, she said, it's chilly. She thought of asking her mom to turn up the heat, but Raccoon wanted to be green, so she took an extra blanket from the shelf. When Squirrel saw Superflesh bubble-soled buzzard sneakers in Barney's shop, he told his sister, I want those. But Squirrel was green now, so he had second thought. There's still a lot of fun and run in my old sneakers. See, he didn't need something new, so he decided not to get it. So he did not waste it. Bunny went to the supermarket with her dad. When her dad started packing groceries in plastic bags, Bunny said, it takes mucho years for one plastic bag to decompose. The next time Bunny and her dad went shopping, they brought along a bag made of cloth. Cloth bags are reusable, so they're better for the earth. On Saturday, young Bear was watching TV. His friend Possum stopped by. Do you want to play ball? He asked. Young Bear grabbed his glove and ran out the door. He was halfway down the street when he remembered something. I forgot to turn off the TV. So what? Said Possum. So I'm going green, said Young Bear. Wait just a minute. I'll be right back. I'll turn off the light too. Saving electricity is an important, easy way to go green, making sure we turn off all lights before bed. Frog went to visit Uncle Toad. Uncle Toad had a scooter in his shed. He was giving it to Frog. Frog couldn't wait to ride that scooter. But Uncle Toad also had old jars and newspapers in his shed, and Frog wanted to be green. I can help you load these into your truck, said Frog. We can take them to the recycling center. I can ride the scooter later. At school the next day, Miss Fox's class held a toy swap. I'm tired of my sparkle yo-yo, said Bunny. I'll trade you my umbrella hat, said Raccoon. Who wants my T-Rex mask? Asked Squirrel. I'll take that, said Frog. Here's my talking tomato. Day after day, Miss Fox's class made good green choices. They picked up litter from the schoolyard without being told. They planted a tree in honor of Mrs. Fox's birthday. One morning, the principal showed up at school on a bicycle. "Look," Bunny called, "Mr. Moose is going green too." The students cheered. Woo! The next day, Miss Fox's class had lots of company going green. Now it was the whole school. Wow, that was a really good story with a lot of good tricks and tips on how to go green. Maybe today, since it's Earth Day, you can go outside and pick up some litter from the street. Or if you can't do that, just make sure you take a short shower, turn off the lights, or maybe just recycle some newspapers. I hope you all have a wonderful day and you spend time thinking about the earth and how much it gives to us and how we can give back to it. Thanks for coming to Storytime.